Making 10K a month ruined my life. And here's the crazy part. Most entrepreneurs talk about it like it's the golden milestone. But I want to share with you the harsh reality behind why making 10K a month could end up ruining your life too. 9 years ago, I took the biggest risk of my life. I was a 15-year-old high school dropout with a negative $22 bank balance. I was broke, fat, and I had just cut off all my so-called friends. I burned every bridge, I had no safety net, no plan B, just one mission in mind. Get rich or die trying. Fast forward to today, I built a coaching business that has allowed me to generate over $4 million in the info space, move out to Dubai, buy my dream car, look after my parents financially, and get married at 21, and travel the world and go to all sorts of amazing, crazy cities. And I'm blessed to be able to call the top 1% my friends. But the craziest part is, I run a coaching business where my clients are my friends. I host masterminds with great guest speakers like William Brown, who just sold his info company to a private equity firm for millions of dollars. Not just that, but I've helped over 150 coaches and agency owners break through that 10K a month ceiling. But this isn't a success story, this is a survival story. I want to take you back and share with you exactly where I started out so that you can understand my journey, gauge some of the most valuable lessons, and avoid getting fucked on the way to success. My name is Mehdi, and I need to be brutally honest with you. Even after generating over $4 million in revenue, I've made 6 figures liquid and lost it all multiple times. I've had to rebuild from scratch over and over again. And if you're watching this video and you're stuck at 5 to 10K months, feeling like you're one bad month away from losing everything, I've been exactly where you're at. So let me paint a full picture for you of exactly where I started out. At 15, I wasn't just broke. I was everything that I didn't want to be. Fat as fuck, out of shape, surrounded by people who had no ambition, no drive, no vision for anything bigger, which was really frustrating. Worst of all, I had a negative $22 bank balance, which left me pretty restricted in what I could do. But that to me wasn't just a number, it was a wake-up call. At that point, I realized I had 2 choices. I could A, stay comfortable, or I could burn every single boat and commit to becoming someone completely different. And for me, that was the version 2.0 of myself. I made the hardest decision of my life. I dropped out of school, I cut off every friend that wasn't aligned with where I was going, and I decided that if I was going to fail, I was going to fail trying to do something and build something extraordinary. But here's what nobody tells you about making that sort of commitment. The road is brutal, lonely, and I was about to learn that the hard way. So there I was, 15 years old, negative bank balance, no friends, no safety net, but I had something that most people didn't have. I had a bit of desperation mixed with a shitload of determination and a big fat chip on my shoulder that made me feel like the world was against me. So I tried every opportunity that you can name, from drop shipping to affiliate marketing to forex trading, you name it, I probably tried it, and I failed miserably time and time again. And here's what nobody tells you. You need to get angry. And I mean wildly pissed off at the world, at people that doubted you, but most importantly, with your own mediocrity. Because I was at a stage where I got just pissed off enough at myself to make a change. And that's exactly what I did. I channeled all that anger into consuming everything that I could about making money online. I spent every waking hour studying YouTube videos, books, free courses that I could get my hands on, lead magnets even. And that's where I learned a very, very important lesson. You don't get paid for switching opportunities. You get paid for solving problems. So that led to me being able to do something which led to my first breakthrough. I found my very first target client. Business owners that were trying to already sell something online and doing a pretty crap job at it. And from there, I started to find holes in their funnel that were costing them more than at least $2,000. And I told myself, well, if this is costing them more than $2,000 and I charge them $500 for it, I can get my first client. And that's exactly what led to my first $500 client. I remember thinking, holy shit, like someone just paid me $500 for knowledge that I learned from YouTube, free courses and books. And that's when I realized something that most people never figure out. Your current situation doesn't determine your value. Your knowledge does. What you know determines what you will be paid. And here's where most people would have stopped. They would have thought, yeah, $500 is good. Let me just keep running this play a few more times and I'm comfortable. Not me. I was like, fuck, if I could do $500, I could probably do 1,000. So I became obsessed with scaling. And within months, I started reinvesting that money and learning everything about funnels, sales copy, traffic, and started charging $1,000 to work with business owners for the first 4 weeks. And even though I had a bit of pushback, I stayed consistent with it. I hit my first 10K month and I was 16 years old, making more than most adults. I felt unstoppable. By 18, I'd made my first 6 figures liquid, over $100,000 cash sitting in my bank account. And you want to know what I did? I bought my dream car. I felt like I'd made it. I was 18 years old with my dream car and 6 figures. I pretty much thought that I was invincible. But this is where I made one of the most expensive mistakes of my life. Instead of investing that money back into my business, into masterminds, into mentors, into ad spend, I made risky bets. I splashed money on bad investments. I thought I was so smart that I could just multiply money without doing the boring work of building systems. And I was living the high life. Don't get me wrong, I had a lot of fun, right? I was splashing on designer, driving expensive cars, and eating at 5-star restaurants for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And within months, I wasn't just broke, I was in over $20,000 worth of debt. And here's where the most poisonous mindset. I became obsessed with making more money so that I could spend more money. It's like knowing that you should eat healthy and exercise, but instead you keep buying new gym clothes and thinking that that's what's going to get you in shape. You do what feels good in the moment instead of what's right for your future. And that's the biggest fuck up that I probably made. And that debt taught me one of the most important lessons. The fastest way to avoid going broke is to act broke when you have money and act rich when you don't. The fastest way to build wealth is to invest like you're already wealthy, even when you're not. So I had to rebuild again, but this time I made a different choice. Instead of going out there and trying to get rich with risky investments like crypto and forex and stocks, I invested into the most boring, unsexy thing possible. Myself. I spent my last $3,000 on coaching, and any normal person would have thought, I lost my mind. You're in 20K worth of debt. Why are you going out there and spending more money? But here's where I learned. The coaches and the agency owners that are stuck at 10K months all have the same limiting beliefs. I can't afford to invest into myself. Meanwhile, the ones that effortlessly crush $50,000 plus months have a completely different belief. And it's that I can't afford not to invest into myself. That belief has saved me so much money, so much time, and helped me level up massively. And that investment right there taught me something that changed everything. Making 10K a month is the most dangerous trap in business. Why? Because it's enough to just slightly upgrade your life. You get a new car, you get a nicer apartment, you can eat out more, but it's not enough to build a real business. It's not enough to hire a team. It's not enough to create systems or actually buy your freedom. And that's why I kept making money and losing it all. I wasn't building a business. I was stuck in a 10K per month trap. I was a self-employed guy who was making a little bit of extra money versus an actual business owner. And after investing into the right coaches and mentors, I saw that and I made it my mission to break out of that trap for good. And that's when I discovered 3 systems that separate the hustlers that are stuck at 10K months from entrepreneurs that can effortlessly scale past 50 to 100K per month. And I want to share with you exactly what those systems are. The first system is the delivery system. With delivery, this one hit me the hardest. When I first started coaching, I thought I was the only person that could do the work. I'd be on every call, writing every client strategy, answering every message at 2 a.m. I felt like a prisoner and chained to my business. And for some time, it felt kind of good. It stroked my ego, thinking, oh, like no one can do it like me. But this is the truth. That's not a business. Like that's a prison. It's like when I was 18 and I finally had 6 figures in the bank. I thought I was free, but in reality, I was chained to a lifestyle that I couldn't maintain. Delivery works the same way. You think you're in control, but really deep down you're stuck. And this is the moment I decided to start building out systems for delivery, onboarding templates, hiring client success managers, building out processes that didn't rely on me and still allowed me to deliver a quality service to my clients. And that one shift helped me go from being self-employed to actually being a business owner. The second system that I started to build out was my sales system. So here's the thing. Most people think that the goal is to become the best closer. And arguably after taking 10,000 plus sales calls, I would call myself a pretty decent closer. But if you're the only person that can sell inside of your business, you don't have a business. You have a job, right? And that was me. I take every sales call. I used to flex my Stripe notifications. I know we've all been there. But if I got sick, calls didn't happen. If I went on vacation, revenue stopped. And it sucked. It's kind of like back when I bought my first dream car. Like the car looked amazing, but if I didn't keep pouring gas into it, it was useless. My sales process was the same. It only ran if I just refueled it personally. And that made me realize that unless I shift this and start building a system where I have scripts, frameworks, trained closers who could truly follow the same exact process and close deals without me, I would still be stuck hustling. So doing that allowed me to build a machine that printed clients on repeat and still allows me to take a vacation and still have fun while running my business. The third and final system that allowed me to really scale and break to $100,000 months is building a business that doesn't collapse when you grow. I learned this the hard way. I'd scale fast, 25K months, 50K months, 75K months, and then it would all crash because I had no systems. It's like stacking cash on a table with no foundation. One wobble and it all falls down. The scale system is about building out processes to keep things stable when you're not there, such as hiring, tracking, reporting systems for client acquisition and fulfillment. And it took me a really, really long time to dial these things in and get them in place. But when I finally had them in place, it allowed me to scale to 100K months without things breaking. And that's when I stopped just making money. That's when I started building wealth, because I had a business that didn't rely on me wholeheartedly to do that. And that took me in over $20,000 worth of debt to consistent 25, then 50K, then 75K. And in 2022, I hit my first 100K month. And that was 3 years ago, which is crazy. But this is the thing that I'm the most proud of, right? I finally built a business where I don't feel consumed by it. I've been able to move to Dubai, an incredible city which represents everything I wanted to become. I've been able to take care of my parents financially, get married at 21 to an incredible woman, and get into the best shape of my life. And none of that would have happened unless I built a business that I could systemize. On top of that, it gives me time to host incredible masterminds like I'm doing this year in November. Learning these systems inside and out has allowed me to help over 150 coaches and agency owners break through the same ceiling that I was stuck in for years. But here's the difference. I learned these lessons the hard way. I went through a lot of shit and ate a lot of shit for a very, very long time to do this. You don't have to. And that's exactly why I've created this YouTube channel, because I know that there are coaches and agency owners watching this right now. Exactly where I was. You're stuck at that 5 to 10K a month mark. You're working 60 to 80 hour weeks, grinding your eyeballs out because Gary Vee and David Goggins told you to, and you are the biggest bottleneck in everything. Maybe you've had some success. Maybe you've hit a 15K a month or a 20K a month here and there, but you can't sustain it. You can't scale it. You're one bad month away from disaster, which is the exact situation that I found myself in one too many times. And I know what you're telling yourself. Well, I can't afford to invest into coaching and I need to figure this out myself first, or I'll invest when I'm making more money. Those are the same exact lies that I told myself when I was 20K in debt. And those are the same lies that kept me stuck for years. Because here's the truth. You're not stuck because you don't know what to do. You're stuck because you're trying to do it alone. You're stuck because you're acting broke instead of investing like someone who's serious about building wealth. The question isn't whether you can actually afford to invest into yourself. The question is, how much is staying stuck costing you every single month? Every month when I'd make 10K a month, I would go splash out on designer, splash out on crazy stuff, give money to my family and so on and so forth. And I was like, oh, just figure it out alone. I'm already making good money. Maybe I just have to keep doing more of what I already did to make more money. And those are the exact things that kept me stuck. And for a long time, I wanted to figure out how to scale to 100K months. And I didn't realize it, even though it's super blatant. It was costing me $90,000 a month to stay stuck in the exact same situation that I was in. So here's the deal, man. If you're watching this video and you're a coach, an agency owner, and you're stuck at that 5 to 10K a month level, if you're tired of being the biggest bottleneck in your business and you're ready to build something finally after a long time that doesn't just make money, but build you the life that you actually want to live, then I want to invite you to book in a call. But let me be clear. I don't need more clients. My business does very, very well with or without you. And I'm extremely selective with who I work with, because taking your money is a responsibility. And if you suck as a person, I can't work with you for the next 3 to 6 months. I could easily fill my calendar with people that just want quick fixes and I want to make money this month and right? People that want magic bullets. But that's not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is the rare few that understand that transformation requires investment, not just financially, right? But mentally, emotionally, through grit, through perseverance, through wanting to build something incredible. People who are coachable, who are willing to do the uncomfortable work, and who understand that the fastest way to get unstuck is to bet on yourself even when it feels scary. My number one thing is I'm looking for people who are tired of making excuses and ready to make moves. People who understand that staying comfortable in their current situation is actually the riskiest choice that they can make. If that's you and you're ready to stop playing small and start building a business, start building something extraordinary, then click the link below. But understand this. That call is not to convince you to work with me. It's to see if you're the type of person I'd like to work with. And if you got value from this video, subscribe to this channel. Either way, like whether you ever work with me or not, I'm going to be sharing with you everything. The systems, the mindset shifts, the exact strategies that took me from being in over $20,000 worth of debt to hosting masterminds alongside 8 and 9 figure entrepreneurs. Because remember, your current situation is not your final destination, but staying comfortable in your discomfort is your choice. The choice is yours, right? Either way, subscribe to the channel. You guys are going to get a lot of value. The most raw, unfiltered YouTube channel you're ever going to come across. And I'll see you in the next one.